Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, and Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/football.
This is the biggest game James Franklin has coached at Penn State.
Has Penn State been playing possum this whole time?
Well, it can't be worse, Bear.
Roll damn tide.
The Heisman market is fascinating right now.
I think this game is filthy ugly.
Lane understands our line of work here, and if he's saying high scoring, I think high scoring is the way to go.
I think this one goes over, and I think it might go way over.
You do two fingers. I grew up doing one finger for that.
They did not profile like a 10-win team. They profiled like 7-win type teams. I can't wait to let 18 to 22-year-olds emotionally ruin me.
I made a call, to Vegas. I said, look, we actually need the favorite here.
Welcome to Bear Bets, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings Sportsbook, the best place to bet touchdowns this season. This week, new customers, you get $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app, use the promo code BearBets. BearBets, 2 words when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gentlemen, Sammy P, Geoff Schwartz, first official weekend of autumn. We have number 1 on the road. We've got a couple of historical type games. Vandy looking for a 5-0 start for like the second time in the last 80 years. Illinois had 60 hung on them last week. Big Noon's headed there. But I think we can all agree 4 ranked versus ranked matchups, 3 versus 6, Penn State, Oregon, Alabama, Georgia as well. Jersey Jeff is back. I give you the floor.
We are back. We have made it. This is the game we had all circled all offseason. Oregon at Penn State. Both teams arrive undefeated, which is what we hoped. Obviously, not a big deal when you don't play anyone. And what a game, man. What a fantastic way to start a weekend of Big Ten football, just sort of a year where the Big Ten looks pretty good so far, Bear. And look, this game to me feels kind of simple. One, can Oregon handle the atmosphere? It's a younger team, inexperienced team. Only eight starters off the Big Ten championship team, Rose Bowl team are playing in this game. And even the backups tend to be younger guys. So the atmosphere is going to be intense. There's no doubt about it. It's a whiteout. James Franklin's talking about, fans, like, bring your energy, please. We know how tough it is to play there. And then, so can Oregon withstand that atmosphere with the Penn State defense that's really good? Can they do that? It reminds me a little Georgia, Tennessee, right? Georgia came out, Tennessee blasted them early, Georgia stayed with it and won the game. And then secondly, Drew Aller has not played up to expectations. It's that simple, right? It's that simple.
Or has he?
And
just who he is.
I think it's more who he is, to be fair. But expectations were preseason, obviously, like number 1 pick in the draft, like that type of player, right? He has not been that good so far. If Oregon can stop the run, and to be fair, we won last year giving up 300 yards rushing, but can Oregon stop the run and make Drew Aller have to be the game? That's sort of the path for victory for the Ducks in this matchup. I know, Sammy, you like Penn State, though.
I love their defense, and I think home field is very, very important in this game. I just want to volley it back to you, though, quickly, because this will answer a lot for me. You got the sweater on.
Yes.
You got the helmet. You're holding it like a baby. Are you betting Oregon?
I'm not betting Oregon.
See, that tells me everything I need to know.
But he never bets his team.
I don't know. My rule is I only bet them to win and cover if they're a favorite. Because I don't
really?
want to. Why?
No, I said really. That's interesting.
That's my rule for my favorite teams. I just don't like the idea that Oregon loses but wins me money. I want them to win the game.
Right.
So I want them to win. And if they're a favorite, I want them to win by 7 points or more, like whatever it is. Right. I don't take points with Oregon ever.
You notice, Bear, in Vegas, it's hanging out at 3.5 from a number standpoint. Mm-hmm. And I talked to the guys at the Westgate, and they dropped it to 3 just to get a little taste. Yep. And bam, somebody came in and slammed Penn State at 3. We're going to get to the weekend. We're going to see the bet splits. Oregon's going to be a public dog. Yep. It doesn't mean they can't win. Right. The books are going to need Penn State. Yet, they feel very good about giving you that hook.
Yeah, Illinois was a public dog last week and had that go. I think you can make a case that this is the biggest game James Franklin has coached at Penn State. If you can't beat a young Oregon team at home in the whiteout at night as a favorite with a senior-laden team, like, when's it going to happen?
Never.
It's like, I think the amount of pressure on James Franklin and Penn State in this game is incredible, because if you lose, then there's like no belief you're going to go to Ohio State in November and win. And then you're 10-2 and you're sitting maybe on the college football playoff fence. So I think it's a massive game. It's an interesting little thing that I looked up here. I love doing my bear bites for the week. If you go back since the 2022 college football playoff, TCU's upset win over Michigan. There have been 21 matchups of top 6 opponents. The point spread hasn't mattered in any of them.
Wow.
You had 13 favorites win and cover, and 8 underdogs went outright. So basically, if you're picking Oregon, you're basically saying they're winning the game.
Yeah, and look, all the pressure's on Penn State in this game. They're off a bye as well, so they're well rested. Good for them. And they got to get it done. It's that simple. So Oregon can at least have that knowledge of understanding that really it's all on them. There might be a lot of pressure on our next coach here as we move to Alabama and Georgia, Sammy, because Kalen DeBoer, he's not getting fired, but to keep his job off the hot seat, Bama has got to go to Georgia, which is one, I think, Bear, 33
in a row
games, and win this game as a slight underdog.
So when this number came out, I thought, wow, that's weird. It's only 3.5, huh? And then you think, oh, no, it's 3. And the money line parlays are going to come out of every direction on Georgia. People like Georgia. People like Kirby, don't like Kalen DeBoer. We're really grilling this poor kid, Ty Simpson, for having one bad game. We really are. And I know that they haven't beaten anybody since then, but the weapons are there. I had an odds maker tell me the other day Alabama's his 3rd best team in the country. Now, his numbers are a little skewed because he shapes them the way that he feels, right? He's not taking...
There's a real unbiased power.
Not taking bets. He's making odds. There's a difference between being an odds maker and a bookmaker, believe it or not. Because if you're making numbers, that's fine. When you're booking bets, you get to the right number. The talent is there. The 2 doubts that people have are the quarterback and the head coach. But if they put it together and can take those shots down the field against a very bad Georgia secondary, Bear, the Tide are going to win.
That's what worries me. Like, you look at Georgia, all the losses that they had on the defensive side of the ball. I think for 3 guys now starting in the NFL, 5 guys left, and now we're starting at another FBS school. Like, they lost Christian Miller's like the only real difference maker you think on that team. I think they got problems in that back 7, and we've seen Alabama's offense, like you said, Sammy. Wisconsin is not a good Big Ten team, or they're middle tier, lower third, but they just ripped them apart. Like, I think there's a path here for Bama to pull this minor outright win. And you look at the schedule and the road games: Missouri, South Carolina, and then the Iron Bowl at the end of the year. I think there is a path to the playoff here for the Tide.
I like them. We were so quick to say they're cooked after one game, and that's not fair to a team.
Only plus 105, right, to make the playoffs right now. Wager worth making, Bear?
Not at that price.
Okay.
I would play the better money line price on this game.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right, coming up next, we got Will Hill back in the house. We'll talk all the rest of the college football games coming up next. Welcome back to Bear Bets. Now it's time for Super 6 presented by DraftKings. Who will win between USC and Illinois? Bear will have a column up, and so will I later on the website. Bear, don't do that, Bear. No one wants to see USC. It's Oregon Day, okay? But help us out with this. Will Hill is here, our friend, our pal. Will, welcome back to Bear Bets.
Boys, what's going on? Great to be with you. Excited for this slate, and I'm excited for this game. And to me, a lot of it comes down to, and I like Illinois, but a lot of it comes down to, some narrative stuff, some old school handicapping. But you always talk about buy low spots. This is about as low as it gets off a 63-10 performance. Illinois is going to be motivated, more buttoned up. And USC with the travel, and travel has been a huge factor in a lot of these scenarios going west to east and vice versa. A 9 a.m. kickoff for a West Coast team here playing at noon Eastern. I think Illinois keeps it close. I wouldn't be shocked if they win the game. I know USC's been impressive with their passing game, and Illinois is beat up in the secondary. But to me, USC hasn't been tested. When you look at Georgia Southern and Purdue and Michigan State, this is going to be a test up, even though I know the four of us haven't exactly been in love with Illinois buying the hype. They were never the ninth best team in the country. We know that, but I think they'll be right in this game.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, people are, well, Indiana beat the number 9 team in the country, and they never were. But you mentioned travel, and I think the travel part of this is a big deal because you go back, Lincoln Riley at USC has been a favored away from home 15 times. They've covered just 3.
Yep.
And 2 of them came in the Rose Bowl against UCLA. You go back, it's 0-11 ATS when favored outside the state of California. That's like telling.
I don't always buy the body clock argument, but then I went to watch Oregon Northwestern play in this exact same time slot. You were there as well. And it's real. Like, Oregon tried their best to start fast in that game by practicing early in the morning. Even one of their staffers told me they went and knocked on everyone's door like 5 o'clock in the morning, like to hype them up and like, let's go, we're playing in 4 hours, whatever it was. And they were flat as can be. Like, it's a real thing to have to change your schedule to play in this environment. And then look, there is going to be pride for Illinois, Sammy. I don't know if they're good enough though, but they're going to give you their best to at least start the game because they got blown out last game.
This is that role too. Bielema is a home dog of around a touchdown that's been very profitable over the years. I still don't know, Will, that Vegas knows how to price Illinois. I mean, clearly the look-ahead number here was USC 1.5, and now we're 6.5. You just need Illinois to fight. And I think for some people, it's hard to get back there, Will, because they just had their soul ripped out on the road.
Yeah, and with this number 6.5, the back door could be open. If you're down 10 late, you could certainly see a scenario where they get in the back door, a touchdown, you win by 3, and then everybody's happy. USC gets their win, Illinois gets their cover. I think Illinois will keep this game close to the very end.
Yeah, you mentioned, Sammy, about Bielema and the underdog role. Illini were an underdog 8 times last year. It won 5 of them outright, including 2 of the 3 instances in Champaign that they were home dogs.
Michigan. They beat Michigan at home last year.
Yes, they did. And Michigan wound up being one of the better teams in the conference by the end of the year. We will see ultimately what happens here. Can that Illinois offensive line do better than what it did last week against Indiana and on the road against Duke?
Well, it can't be worse, Bear. I think we feel the comfortable. It can't go worse than 63-10. I think we agree there. And look, your part about USC on the road, they just haven't been as good with Riley, just from a gameplay. Like Purdue, they scored only 26 offensive points in that game. They needed
a lot of red zone struggles,
red zone turnovers to make that game what it was. And USC's red zone offense has not been great at times this season. So, I think Illinois is live in this game to cover. Welcome back to the Bear Bets podcast. Lots of games to get to, including a big one in Washington. Number 1, Ohio State at the Washington Huskies. Washington is about a 8-point dog. 8.5. This number open 10. It's come down pretty quickly. Washington, as we know over the years, has been really strong at home. This is the first road game for this sort of new Ohio State offense. Will, what do you like in this game? What are your thoughts on who might cover this one?
I love the over here more than anything. As far as like who will cover, I was looking to take Washington, but I was hoping to get, double digits. I think the summer line was 14. 8.5. I know it's a tough place to play, but if that continues to come down, I'd actually look towards Ohio State. But like I said, I like the over. To me, Washington is an over team, 3-0 to the over so far, and it's not an accident. They're really good on offense. They are pedestrian on defense. They play fast. They've got a bunch of skill guys. Williams, I think, is the real deal at quarterback. Sayin, I think, will be able to have some success. So to me, this is like I don't know, Sammy, 38-28 type of game. I do like Ohio State. I think Washington can have their moments. And if you do, for whatever reason, think, I think Washington can pull an upset. Damon Williams is still out there 60-1 for Heisman. This is a theme with a lot of these games. If you have a feeling this team's going to pull off a big win and a big upset, you could see some big moves in the Heisman from now until Sunday when these lines reopen. But I think Ohio State, close game, pull away at the end. But I think we're getting a lot of points here. Both these teams play fast. Both these teams can score, Sammy. I think this one goes over, and I think it might go way over.
He said 38-28. I hope it's 38-30 because I took the 8.5 at DraftKings. I make the number about 6. And we saw when this opened at Circa in Vegas, it opened 10, and that lasted 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, they came in and crushed it. Took the 10, took it down to 8. There was a little bit of buyback on the 8 to get it back to 8.5, but I think anything over a touchdown is good. Julian Sayin has to go in Husky Stadium, Bear. You've been there. Yep. It is not easy to play there. The home crowd's going to be rocking. And don't let the Huskies go up 7-0 because then Ohio State's up against it.
That's the biggest story and the biggest thing that will determine this game is. And you mentioned, Sam, like I have been there and being firsthand University of Miami grad, watching the best team in the country in 2000 was Miami. Ken Dorsey's first road start was at UW in 2000. They got ambushed out of the gate, fell behind, and then finally it started clicking, and a mad comeback came up just short, and that was their only loss that season. Granted, I think that Washington team was a little bit better than the one that Ohio State is playing there, but it still holds true. You've got Sayin making his first road start in a hostile environment. Can the Buckeyes get off to a good start? I think I disagree with both you and Will a little bit in that I think Washington team total under 22.5. I'm just looking at some stuff on DK right now. That might be the way to go. I think the Ohio State defense is really good. And I think if Ohio State struggles a little bit, I think their defense will get minutes. So I might be looking at UW team total here at some point under. And if Ohio State comes down, the line comes down even more. If I can get a 7 or a 7.5, which we'll see, I might be interested in laying it.
Couple notes here. How Ohio State keeps Williams in the pocket is going to be a big reason for their success or lack thereof. If Williams gets out of the pocket, they're in trouble. So I'm curious if Caleb Downs becomes that spy guy. And also, too, look, Washington was tied at 21 in the third quarter with Colorado State in week one. They won 38-21. They had a turnover and a couple downs. And then it was 31-24 in the fourth quarter last weekend. Washington was driving to go tie the game. Pick six, fumble, now it's 59-24. So those games were closer than the final result. And so I lean Ohio State here. If I can get a 7.5, I'd probably take Ohio State. Also a live wager in game if Washington's fast would be something to look at. Will, another big game here. The Irish 1-2 go to Arkansas off that loss to Memphis. They're up 28-10 and lose that game. This is 4 points now, maybe 4.5. Poor Sammy over here wanted a better number, but went to the gym and missed it. Thoughts, Will, on this game?
I was looking to bet the over here too. And then, two over teams, Arkansas and Notre Dame, both just give up a lot of points, score a lot of points. I couldn't believe 64.5, 65.5 in some spots here. That's just too much. Not that I want any part of the under. I like Arkansas. They're a couple plays away, a couple fumbles away from possibly being 4-0. You could probably say the same about Notre Dame, who could have beaten A&M and was right there with Miami. But I just think backdoor will be open here. Arkansas can take advantage of a really shaky Notre Dame secondary. We know Petrino can move the ball on anyone. I just think that this is last team with the ball kind of game, maybe a field goal game, Bear. I like Arkansas here getting the points. Would not be surprised at all if they won this game.
I think I'm taking a long-term view on this game. If you think Notre Dame to miss the playoff is a bet, one of the avenues for Notre Dame to miss the playoff is losing here at Arkansas. So instead of laying $3 on Notre Dame to miss the playoff, maybe take Arkansas on the money line.
No team's identity has changed more. Notre Dame ran the ball, played good defense last year. This year, they can't stop anybody, and they are throwing the ball with a freshman quarterback. It's crazy. All
right, we're back on the Bear Bets podcast for the audio-only portion here, and we're going to run through a lot of the big games this week. Looking forward to doing this with Will Hill, who's staying along with us here. Indiana at Iowa here. Iowa is getting 7.5, total 47.5. And Will, I want to bet Iowa so badly in this game, but this is going to be like 42-17. I know Indiana's going to kick their butt. Any thoughts on Iowa, Indiana?
Haven't bet it. It would only be Iowa or pass. I mean, you just look through Iowa's history. Not that games, 5-10 years ago factor into what happens in this kind of scenario, but you don't very often get Iowa, who's usually really good defensively, really good special teams, good at taking the ball away. You don't get them as a dog. You don't get them as a two-score dog where you're getting more than one possession here. So Indiana, all right, maybe we all slept on them. Maybe they're just as good, if not better than last year. Maybe they're headed back to the playoffs. They're the real deal. All that stuff is possible, although I would not. Boy, if you're betting anyone on Heisman, I'll tell you who not to bet. To me, Mendoza as the short shot. I think that is fraught with peril. It would be Iowa or nothing, but haven't bet it yet, Bear.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Heisman market is fascinating right now because like the top of the market, like with Mateer being hurt and Mendoza, and you've got Indiana rather with a couple of games that like they're not going to go 10-2, 11 and maybe they'll go 10-2, but 11. Like I don't know. It's a terrible wager. I don't unfortunately have any plays here in Indiana, Iowa. It feels like Iowa would be the side you'd want to bet. Maybe look towards an Iowa team total might be the way. I do think the Indiana defense is pretty good, and obviously we saw the Iowa last Friday night when Rutgers was unfortunately a loser for a bunch of us here. Kickoff return. It was like that old Iowa finding ways to score points. Kornowski running the ball. I could see the Iowa offense struggling again here. So I'd be maybe interested in an Iowa team total under.
I'm under 48. Get a good number. 48's available. Shop around, obviously. DraftKings has 47.5. I'm going under 48. They're going to say 47.5 on the graphic. Go under 48. I think this game is filthy ugly. I think Iowa's going to block a punt. I think they're going to be punts pinned inside the 10. There's only one way Iowa can hang. They cannot go up and down the field with these guys. They can't.
Well, so they got the kick return against Rutgers that got them sort of going in that game, which I sort of felt like immediately like, oh, we're kind of screwed there. I just think Indiana's so much better than Iowa, man. And I don't think Cincinnati's going to let them have a letdown spot. This is why for years I would have taken Iowa in this spot. And I feel like we have to choose between Illinois or Iowa. We can't just take both of them. Mm-hmm. And I think Illinois playing USC is a better chance to cover than Iowa. I mean, would it surprise you if this game ended up being 35-10? You hit the under, but
that would be nice.
Indiana very clearly covers this game, Bear.
Wait a minute. 35. Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, I got you.
It's 40 under 47.5 or 48.
Both. I purposely chose a number that would get you home, and also
I'm happy with that.
Indiana covering this game as well. Will, big one in the SEC, LSU at Ole Miss. This number looks like it's Ole Miss here by a 1.5 here total, 55.5. Lane Kiffin said to take the over on social media. Are you taking the over or a side or anything else in this one?
You know, it's not very often that we get a pick from the head coach as a handicapper. Usually that's pretty good intel. Usually our sources are somebody heard from somebody else. Usually don't get from the head coach directly. Hey, take the over. That's pretty good information. It would only be Ole Miss. I know it's not fair to LSU to sit here and downgrade them out of things that aren't their control, but their win against Clemson, their win against Florida are nowhere near as impressive as, a month ago when they beat Clemson or a few weeks ago when they beat Florida. Those teams are just not as good as we think. Chambliss, who I assume is going to play for Ole Miss, who's been pretty impressive here as the backup. I would think he's going to be the starter until he proves otherwise. It would only be Ole Miss or nothing for me, Bear.
Yeah, I'm looking at LSU team total over here. I don't think the Ole Miss defense is very good. It's certainly nowhere near what we've seen from Ole Miss the last couple of years. I know the LSU offense has been a little ugly, struggling to run the ball. They get a big weapon back at tight end this week. I think they'll be better off. I think Nussmeier will continue to get healthier from that abdomen core injury, whatever it was that was reported a couple of weeks back by Brian Kelly. But yeah, one thing about Lane will never beat around the bush. Lane understands our line of work here, and if he's saying high scoring, I think high scoring is the way to go. But I like you can find LSU 26.5 team total. I'd be going over that.
Ole Miss is pretty popular. I've heard a lot of that this week. A lot of Ole Miss money line, Ole Miss -1, 1.5. But understand that the bigger bets earlier in the week were on the dog. This was 3 in Vegas when this opened up. 3, then we saw 2.5 and 2. Obviously, that's the way numbers work. But they have bet LSU, and I think you're going to see Ole Miss kind of be that public home side. All they got to do is win by 3. I think the books are going to need LSU here because they got shaped on the game by the early support for LSU.
The LSU side is interesting here just because the idea that essentially their offense has not been as good as we thought, right? It's just been struggling a little bit to get explosive plays and score points. But is the Ole Miss defense the cure for any of this? And that feels like what obviously Bear likes the team total over there. That could be the cure that we see here. Friday night, Florida State, Virginia. Florida State favored by 7, total 60.5. I know what this table's on, Will.
Spooky Charlottesville.
What are you on for Florida State? Virginia's Friday night, by the way, this matchup here.
What is better than spending a Friday night rooting for Virginia? I'm with you guys. I like Virginia. Look ahead spot for Florida State. Virginia, I think, has a pretty good quarterback here in Morris. I think they'll be able to move the ball. To me, a close game. I like the dog. I would not be surprised at all if they won the game outright. To me, this is I don't want to say a toss-up game because Florida State's favored. They're rightfully favored, but I think there's a lot to like here, Bear, if you like the Virginia side.
Yeah, I agree. I think Florida State is clearly better than what a lot of people thought they were going to be entering this year. But again, how much do we know about FSU? The win over Alabama was great week one. They kind of ambushed Bama at Doak Campbell, looking at get the season off to a great start. Alabama didn't have either of their top two running backs. It was Simpson's first road start. And after Alabama's first drive, they really did nothing the rest of the game. But then again, after that, you've played the worst team in the FBS in Kent State. You've played East Texas A&M State or whatever the hell it was. I don't know. I guess Castellanos has a little bit of an ankle deal, but nothing that's going to keep him out of the game. This is a tricky spot, I think, for Florida State with the Miami game next week. You have a top 10 showdown there, almost hyped game of the week. I think Virginia, at the very least, is going to throw a scare into the Noles.
It took Elliott some time to get the players he wanted and the system to get into play. If you think about it, though, what's been the issue at Clemson? They can't score. Well, Tony Elliott left. And you're starting to see that starting to happen at Virginia.
I wonder why that is.
They're starting to score. The graphic went away here, but I was going to throw a couple of chips on the Who's +7 Friday night. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Virginia's offense, couple notes here. Points per drive, 19th in country right now. They're 26th in success rate. 13th in country in 3-and-out percentage, which is important, right? You want to keep the chains moving, get yourself obviously an opportunity to have third and shorts. But Florida State off a bye. I mean, are they going to have a look ahead spot off a bye though?
Probably not. I would think they'll be pretty. I would think they'd be pretty focused, even with the game against Miami coming in.
It feels like an over is play here too. Like, there are going to be a lot of points scored in this game.
I would think so. Yeah. We'll find out for sure. Will, before we let you go, the couple other big games this week, we kicked them around earlier. Alabama, Georgia, feels like feels like this number keeps coming down throughout the week. I've seen some 2.5s out there now. I have some worries about that Georgia defense, especially in that secondary. You got to play in Alabama, Georgia, or even the big one in the Big Ten, Penn State and Oregon.
I like Georgia, and not to oversimplify it, but I just think Georgia's win against Tennessee is the most impressive data point of any of these teams. Alabama, I just can't get that game with Simpson at Florida State out of my head. They haven't done anything since. Okay, UL Monroe in Wisconsin, congratulations. That's not enough to sway me. What Stockton and Georgia did on the road, to me, was super impressive against a good Tennessee team, rallying back, 4th and 6, that throw into the end zone. And again, I don't want to sit here and give out 18 different guys for Heisman, but I mentioned it with Williams earlier for Washington. If you like Georgia in this game, Stockton at 15-1 is not the worst bet. If you're one of these people that, hey, I'm going to bet 4 or 5 different guys for the Heisman, bet it responsibly, just split a unit into 4 or 5 ways. Stockton at 15-1 is not a bad guy to have in the account. I think Georgia wins the game. As far as Oregon, Penn State, you like the term dog with fleas. I like Oregon here, but I'm concerned that we're still getting the 3.5. It's weird. I'd almost like it better if we were only getting 2.5 or getting 3. It's weird to say, but has Penn State been playing possum this whole time? If anything, from a betting standpoint, if it would be Oregon or nothing, but from a betting standpoint, I like under 10.5 in the first quarter. I think Penn State, their passing game has looked suspect at best. And they're going to look at when they played in December in the Big Ten title game. Penn State ran for 300 yards, almost 9 yards a carry. I think it's going to be very run-heavy for Penn State. More the Oregon quarterback in a hostile environment on the road. I could see a bit of a feeling-out process early, a lot of running the ball for both teams. You get that hook, so if it's 7-3 after a first quarter, you win your under. First quarter under 10.5 is the best bet for me.
Will, you said something that I want to touch on quickly. So people mentioned this game and talked about the idea that Penn State's offense is playing possum and they're waiting for this game. Is that a thing? Like, I don't think that's a thing. Like, Oregon, you can say something about Oregon. Oregon should have been playing possum. They threw the ball down the field. They made explosive plays on offense. You watch Penn State's offense, and it's Drew Aller just missing open guys. It's a lack of creativity. Could they certainly do something different this game? Sure, but the early games are also opportunities to work on your stuff against teams that stink, and you're able to throw the ball down the field and take chances, see what you have in these guys. So the fact that I believe they've had 2 passing plays over 20 yards so far in 3 games against Nevada, FIU Bear, and Villanova. So just want to make that clear. Like, I understand the idea of playing possum.
Takes this stuff so personally.
The week before you play someone, but through 3 weeks, you would like to see more of a passing offense with Penn State.
It's very funny as he's talking. our crew is flashing up huge highlight plays from Penn State. Jeff's like, Aller can't hit an open receiver. Dime, touchdown. Granted, they haven't played anybody. I think nobody's talking about Penn State's defense, though. Like, we're talking about Aller and how weak the offenses look. Their defense has like 5 NFL guys on it, and I just don't know that Oregon's ready for it. I like Oregon down the road. I think Oregon's going to be just fine, big picture. The home field, the defense, to me, you want to put your helmet on? Go to war?
No, I'm gonna keep my helmet off here, but it's here for good luck. Yeah, it's just sitting here.
Defense is legit.
It is,
and they are at home at night. Those boys are going to be riled up.
Well, they better win because all the pressure's on them. So, and they're better. So we'll see how it goes for Penn State. Let's get to our 2-minute drill here. Our favorite over/under of the week. Bear, let's start with you.
I'm going to go back to where I'm going to be in Champaign, big noon game. USC team total over 33.5. Excuse me.
Are you singing the fight song right now too?
No, I'm not going to sing the fight song. I'm going to be kind to you today. No, no, that's all right. My voice. Getting that.
You do 2 fingers. I grew up doing 1 finger for that.
And
as a UCLA fan, yeah.
No, I think the SC offense against the suspect Illinois defense will put up a bunch of points. Will they win? Who knows? But I do feel pretty good about them being able to score at least 34 points.
I hate doubling up with you here, but I have the over for the game. I think we see Illinois do some things offensively because out of desperation after what happened last week, they can't be any worse. And USC's defense is good at times, but can be leaky, especially against the run. And then, look, one thing to note here, there could be an opportunity for a live wager, guys. USC scores a ton of points in the fourth quarter. Like, they poured on teams at the end. So if this game is maybe a little low scoring at some point, Sammy, I think hopping in live would be worth it as well. What's your total of the week?
I'm going to take an under. Indiana, Iowa. I think Indiana's defense is criminally underrated. If you haven't paid attention to the way that they can stop the point of attack and really control the line, that's a very good defense. Very, very difficult to go into Iowa, though, Bear, and put up points. And you have to believe the game plan in Iowa City is punt. Make Indiana go 80, 90 yards. They cannot win a shootout. I'm sorry. So I'm under in the game.
Will?
Over 52.5, Ohio State, Washington. We talked about it earlier. To me, Washington's just an over team. They've got a quarterback. They've got skill guys. I don't think they're very good defensively. They're going to play with some pace. I think they'll probably be aggressive, fourth downs around midfield. They know they can't just punt and rely on their defense to win the game. So to me, I gave out like a 38-28. I could see it being that kind of game. I think we go well over there, Ohio State, Washington.
All right, underdog most likely to win. This is a fun game you have, Bear, here. The last game of the weekend again is Boulder, and it's going to be BYU in Colorado.
Yeah, I think CU has a really good chance to win this game outright. BYU is an offense that is kind of struggled at times. Certainly in the home game against Stanford, they kind of got bogged down. They went on the road and took care of business in what could have been potentially a tricky spot at ECU, who's not very good. But now you go to Boulder, and the CU offense with Salter, I think, has at least a chance. They look much better. Again, it was Wyoming, so you want to take it at that face value. But I think at home, with Salter actually being a legit threat at the quarterback position now, I think they can put up some points here on BYU. And you're getting 7 now in a lot of spots with this game on that, and probably amounts to a nice little potential money line wager as well.
I think it was 3.5, open 3.5, and it's been slammed. 3.5. I would have taken BYU 3.5.
Like I said, that's one of those themes this week. You have the 8 ranked teams on the road against unranked teams, and you figure at least 2 or 3 or maybe 4 might lose. I think they're the most likely one to get.
We got to get you back out to Boulder for Big Noon. Don't you miss going every week?
I do miss going to Boulder. It's a great spot. Awesome.
They keep winning.
Weather,
food,
scenery, nice nonstop flight. It's great.
My underdog most likely to win is Arkansas against Notre Dame. I got a good buddy who's plugged in Notre Dame, and he's like, "Yeah, we're going to lose this weekend." So, that's a
confident,
not someone, not a player or like a coach, like someone who knows the program well. I think their defense is a problem. It continues to be a problem. Purdue got stunted last week because that rain delay. Before the rain delay, Notre Dame could not stop them. Rain delay happens, and sort of that washed out the rest of Purdue's offense. Arkansas off that really, again, a loss they can't have. Good for Ryan Silverfield, Memphis, but up 28-10 and losing that game. So I think Arkansas at home too as well wins this game, Sammy.
DeBoer has always been good as a dog. I don't know that you want to lay 10 or 14. Lay big numbers with him. Think about when he was at Washington and he was dogs against Oregon twice. One game was 10-point dog. Sorry, Jeff.
Pac-10 championship game.
Roll damn Tide on the money line.
You're in on Bama.
Ty Simpson show. Sorry, Will, we're heads up.
All right.
Yeah, I think that was kind of mean for you to bring up that Pac-10 title game, which not only cost Jeff a playoff spot, could cost us a lot of money. Knicks, Heisman, Oregon to make the playoffs. Yes. That was unnecessary to bring up. I'm going to go Illinois, USC, travel, body clock. You figure Illinois would bounce back and play a little bit better. It'd be hard to play worse than what they played last week. Give me the Illini here to pull off the upset.
All right, we're back on Bear Bets. Let's wrap up the show here with our best bets. We got a lot of time on this one, Bear, so we give full explanation. Perfect. What do we got? Let's start with your best bets, buddy.
I like Kansas State laying 5.5 against UCF as my best bet. You've got the 3-0 team coming off of a blowout win over a bad North Carolina team. They're still not one of the better teams in the conference. K-State, they lost 3 coin flip games. You could easily be 4-0 like Iowa State is right now. At home, laying under a touchdown against UCF. I am here. I am betting K-State and the Wildcats to get the win. Talked about Virginia getting 7 against Florida State on Friday night earlier in the show. I like that. I gave out Colorado as my underdog, most likely to win outright, and talked about the reasons why with Salter and that CU offense. I think playing a lot better. Here's one that I just can't in good conscience lay 6.5 with Northwestern. Like they scored 2 touchdowns against Oregon, the Oregon 9th stringers that you were trying to figure out who the hell was on the field a couple of weeks ago. like that was like
they scored 0 touchdowns against Tulane or the Oregon starters.
Yeah, so I'm taking 6.5. I think the coaching change in the week off will probably do UCLA a little bit of good. And then the other one, which is a kind of a curious line to me as well. San Diego State was a 14-point underdog last week, shut out Cal 34-0. Now you're going on the road and laying points. I mean, I know this is not the same Northern Illinois team from last year when they beat Notre Dame, but now you're a road favorite after being a 14-point home dog. Like that just doesn't equate with me. So I'm on general principle, I'm going to take the home dog, the Huskies with an IE.
All right, give me the under in Iowa City. Please just hold on. Hold on for dear life. 48. It's coming down, though. We've seen some 49.5 and 49 money to drive it down. DraftKings now has 47.5. So I'm going to take that 48 and hit it under and hope that Iowa can control the pace, control the tempo. We've talked about UW. Let's go. Prove it to me, DeMond Williams. I'm looking at you. Getting 8.5 at home in Seattle. Never an easy trip for anybody. How many times has Ohio State played in Seattle, Bear? Probably not many, I'm guessing.
I think they did. I know they have once in the past because I remember Herbstreit talking to me about a Washington-Ohio State game in the past.
Very important to score first, though. I think It's very important to set the tempo.
Place will start shaking.
Place alive. If Ohio State takes the kickback, Jeff, I'll just rip it up. Like it'll be over. It'll be over. And then my favorite bet, I'm going to buckle them both. Bama to win. Bama plus the 3. Big game for Ty Simpson. Big game for Kalen DeBoer. Maybe that woman that said she was going to buy him out $70 million Powerball will feel differently after the Tide roll.
We're on opposite sides there, but looking forward to that game. Quickly on my best bets here, I'm backing Bear here with UCLA plus 6.5. This number to me just stinks. There's no other way to put it. Like I know UCLA hasn't played well, but neither has Northwestern, and the Bruins are more talented. Doesn't mean they're going to, the talent always shows. But the coaching change is a big deal. They're off a bye. We're going to get a good performance from UCLA in this game. So plus 6.5. I mentioned earlier, Illinois, first half, plus 3.5. They're coming off 63-10. There's a pride level in the way they're going to play in this game. Early body clock game for USC. I think USC actually might cover the full game. But Illinois for the first half is the way I'm going here. Then 2 games I know is on no one's radar. Houston laying 13.5 on the road to Oregon State. I could pull up numbers if you guys would like, but Oregon State's not good. 128th in points per drive on offense, 126th in rushing success rate. They 117th in pressure allowed. The Beaver defense is 127th in points per drive. Houston's defense is really good, much improved this year. Their offense we saw start click against Rice and against Colorado. They're off a bye as well. And the last one, as ugly it gets, guys. Stanford, San Jose State. Give me the Cardinal, -3. When 2 bad teams play, if one team does something really well, I'll ride with that team. And Stanford can run the football, guys. They can run the football with Ford. It's not always pretty, but they do get a ton of explosive plays. I have the Cardinal back at home bear against the Spartans here, -3 for the Stanford Cardinal.
For a second win of the year. I like it. Sammy, you're getting me to turn on Bama here. Like plus 105 to make the playoff. It's kind of short. It's not as much bang for the buck as I thought that I may have gotten. So we'll see if they get that win between the all hedges on Saturday night. Thanks for Will for joining us earlier. Appreciate Sammy and Geoff as always. Thanks for watching us on the YouTube channel, FS1. Rate, review, subscribe wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever else. And remember, less you bet, more you lose when you win.